right there. Okay, so Graham, Marina, Jamari, Patricia Dewberry, put blah. Yes, Glenn. Thank you guys. All right, because I just want everybody to know as we're talking, this is a good way for you guys to all visually see that. It don't stay up there. Oh, boo-hoo. Okay, well, that's okay.
Why don't you guys just raise your hand, because the raised hand won't go down.
Okay, gotcha. So these we'll be asking these gentlemen and ladies some questions this evening. But before we get started, is it okay, guys, if I take a moment to explain what partner driven is for those of you that are on that may not know? Partners, y'all better give me a yes, Julie. Okay, thank you. So hey, Pete, what was it, about 3 years ago we decided to start partner driven?
I want to say it was a little bit longer than that, but yeah, about 3.5, 4 years ago, we kind of just wandered into this model. You're absolutely right.
You know, and the thing is, and by the way, Peter was my first mentor in this business. He just couldn't ever get rid of me, right? So now we're business partners. We've been doing deals, but used to, Peter and I ran our own investment company, right? We did, 30 plus deals a month. And on the side, I wouldn't say on the side, but Peter also ran a coaching company. And we made a decision then that, you know what if we mixed our investment company and education company and put both of those things together? Okay. Why is that important? Because honestly, if for a selfish reason, we wanted to do more deals. And Peter and I could only do so much, right, with the staff that we have, which, by the way, is friggin' incredible. But we're like, what if we worked with people across the United States? We showed them how to find deals. And then once they found them, we funded the deals and split profits with them 50-50. Like, I'll never forget this conversation. And we literally went all in. Now, it was rocky at first because we put all of our attention in that to not doing our own deals. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't got my deal money coming in. What are we going to do? Right. But it all worked out. And it all worked out because of people that are on this call tonight, people that are motivated and people that show up and people that take action. And without our partners, we would not be where we are today. We would not have the 5 closings we had last week. Yeah, I mean, give it up. 5 closings last week. Slated for, golly, another 10 or 15 more by the end of the month. I mean, it is just rocking and rolling. So we are so excited. So what is partner driven? Partner driven is not a coaching program. This is a partnership. Okay. We partner with you, right? If you want to be our friends and be our partners, we will provide some technology for you to help you understand what information you need to pull lists from, to look at properties. We're going to provide you a custom customer retention management program so that you can be efficient with making your calls, following up with people. Oh, and Monday through Friday, we do a live daily training call. Monday through Thursday, we do that, right? So we're there every day with a different subject. Also, we take it up a notch. When you got a deal that you need to do, right, and you've got questions, we don't play this game where you email some email and they get back to you in 2 or 3 days. We're on a live Zoom 8 hours a day. So we put this together because, number one, there are no excuses at Partner Driven, right? We're going to be there 100% of the time for you. When you need a contract, we'll send it to you. Our back office will help you close that deal. Okay. So you don't even have to worry about that. So you can learn while you're making money doing deals, because the last thing we want you to do is lose a deal. Oh, and the kicker, Peter, I think, what's the last thing we do?
Money.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So we will fund the deals completely from beginning to end. And then we'll split profits 50-50. So you don't have to bring any money to the closing table, to a rehab, to a power bill, to an insurance bill. Believe it or not, investment property insurance is pretty expensive, right? Some of the things you don't think about when you're going in to do it, but we will provide every bit of that and split profits 50-50. And I would be remiss not to say this. If we lose money on a deal, he takes all the risk. Okay. And that's huge, because I'm not going to lie to you. Real estate's not roses and rainbows 24/7. You aren't going to do enough deals and not lose money from time to time. Things happen, right? Now, obviously, over the years, we've mitigated those risks because we failed and failed and failed and failed and made those mistakes already, right? But it can happen. And if that does happen, it doesn't come back on you. So we have some people tonight. By the way, we're going to get into everything here in just a second. And you can call anytime tonight. But if you want to join our partner driven, I like to say our family, because that's what it really is. Because as cool as I think Peter and I are, and everybody that works here, partners are even cooler, right? So they're in it day to day, always there to help, always there to help everybody succeed. I see it all the time. If you would like to learn more about being one of our partners, we have a few people on standby tonight. And I'm going to do this a little bit different because she's here. I see her face, which is Miss Jamie. This beautiful lady waving her hand here. If we've got anybody else on tonight. Oh, and Anthony, good looking Anthony with the lion in the back. If you guys will put your number in the chat, inside the chat, right? So go ahead and type that in now, Anthony and Jamie. Pick one of them to call. They're both awesome, right? So they'll answer any questions that you guys might have about, joining partner driven, because we're here for you. Okay. And we're ready to make some money together. So that's Anthony and Jamie. You've got Anthony at 949-519-2994, or Jamie at 678-459-8743. And also Miss Wonderful Christine, who, by the way, is the longest standing employee that Peter and I have since the very, very, very beginning, at 770-369-4395. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for letting me get through that. Letting me get through everything. Know that this is a place of love. If you've got questions, don't be afraid to ask them. But Peter, we've got a big night tonight, don't we?
Yeah, we sure do, Julie. One of the things that I always tell people, like, somewhere along the line in the beginning, you got to have some confidence. And I think in the end, what knocks people out of this business, it's really never the difficult side of this business. I mean, I rarely hear people say, well, I can't dial a phone, so I'm out. Or I can't drive to meet a seller, so I'm out. Or even, I hate no's. Well, a lot of people don't like no's. I think in the end, lack of confidence in their abilities, lack of confidence in the marketplace, lack of confidence in the timing, whatever it is. A lot of times I think what really knocks people out of this business is just a lack of confidence. And I know this because, I experienced it myself. I lacked a tremendous amount of confidence, especially in the beginning. When, I started the first 6 deals I did, I literally almost all the way to the end, I thought I was going to make money on every single one of those deals. Like, it was spreadsheet perfect. All the numbers added up. And I remember as all of those deals, one by one, were sold off and I closed them off, I lost money in every single one of them. And if you were to ask me today, what's the biggest thing I lost at that point? Yeah, I guess money was a big thing. It was a big thing, but I lost confidence. And it took me quite a long time. It took me a couple of years to rebuild that confidence. And I tell you, I don't think there's a better way to find confidence than to look at other people that are doing this business, to see that there are successful people, that there are deals being done, there are profits being generated. And so tonight, guys, this is for those of you that lack some confidence. This is for those of you that aren't quite mentally where you should be. This is for those of you that are kind of where I was. You're doubting the business. You're doubting maybe you could be doubting what Julie and I tell you. You could be doing, it's just a lack of confidence. And so I'm excited that Julie came up with this idea. We just want you to hear it from some existing partners that are experiencing levels of success. And the perspective from me personally, as you hear these individuals talk, I want you to be thinking about your own confidence. I want tonight, when we're done tonight, I want everyone's confidence to go to the next level. I want everyone's confidence to be bumped up a couple notches, because I can tell you in the end, confidence, in my opinion, will either break you in this business or it'll make you in this business. So who do we have, Julie?
Peter, I'm going to start this a little bit different. Okay. And I'm going to ask everybody on the panel a question, right? Because to me, a little bit about where you came from, right, determines in sort of a way where you're going, right? And you may resonate with one person or another. And I know these people's stories. So, and we all come from different backgrounds. So if it's okay, I'd like to start with that, Pete. And I've got a few questions for everybody. So, and guys, please give a round of applause for those that are about to speak. And listen, it's okay to be vulnerable, right? Let them be vulnerable, okay? Because it's a growth for them. And they're doing this because I know they feel that they're in the same similar situation that a lot of you are. So we really, want to give them some love. But you know what I'm going to start with tonight? We'll see if she is ready. I'm going to say a little bit about this woman. Number one, when I first talked to this woman, she really impressed me. She impressed me because do you know how someone has just like this demeanor about them where you just trust what they say? You know what I mean? And that you just believe what they are, you believe, and what they're wanting to do. And when I heard that she was on the police force for over 30 years in Miami, Florida, I mean, immediately I had just the utmost respect for this woman. And I don't know that I've met someone as coachable as she is. So Patricia, you there?
Yes, I am. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. So question. So tell me a little bit about your background, Patricia, and why in the world did you want to get into real estate investing after being in the police force?
Well, as you mentioned, I've been with the police department for 27 years. I had done real estate previously. And just like everybody else, when that market hit back in 2009, 2008, I lost everything. So I knew when I was going to be retiring soon. So I had to start another business at least. And I like real estate. So that's why I went back into it. And when I found you and Peter, and I couldn't believe what you guys were going to be putting together, what kind of programs you guys put together, I said I had to follow this. So that's why I joined.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Do you think like your police background helps you?
Yes, it does. As far as talking to different type of people, you get the mentality as far as what you can say, what you can't say, how to move and what and not to move, and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Patricia, have you closed any deals so far?
Closed. We have 2 closing. We have 2 contracts that's still out. We're getting ready to do another closing on the 18th of this month also.
She's very quick about this, but guys, she closed a big deal last week. Now, actually, at this point, I'm not even sure what you made. What did y'all make?
Close to 50,
Close to 50.
A
Awesome.
piece, a
a
piece.
piece, a piece.
Yes. And I think you made some money on some of the other deals you did, and you got
Yes,
another one closing next week.
The first one I did when I contacted you, when I signed up for Partner Driven, I signed up in February, went into Partner Max in March, signed my first contract in April, and had my first closing in May.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I am really, really proud of you. I mean, she's, and thank you for, all the work you did, in the community. I know I appreciate that.
Thank you.
But a true testament to somebody that's worked hard and is doing well. So are you enjoying retirement or not?
Yes, ma'am, every day. I don't have to get up and put on a uniform and run after some 22-year-old. I'm 56. So I'm not running like that anymore. I get in the car, I chase after you. I don't run after you anymore. So no, I feel good about this.
I bet you do. You're like, geez, please don't run. Please don't run. Awesome. Thank you so much, Patricia.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So that's Miss Patricia Dewberry from Florida. She is one of our long-term partners, and so excited out here to share the story. Okay, so we are going to go to somebody else. This gentleman, a lot of you've seen this gentleman on, you've seen him on a lot of our marketing materials. You've seen him, you've heard about him. But I've got a story for you, if it's okay, and I don't want to embarrass Jamari. Okay, back when we first started Partner Driven, we had a live event at our office. Okay, Jamari. Now this is a thing, like you pay for, right? And then like you show up. Jamari he shows up. He's like, I want to know more about this. I'm just showing up. So we just let him into the event, didn't we, Jamari?
Sure did, and I appreciate it.
And if you want to see, he's one of the most hardworking men I've ever seen in this business. And he has been beat down probably more than anybody you'll ever see in this business. And as we texted today, he is on deal number 15. So, Jamari, if you don't mind being a little bit vulnerable here, will you give everybody a little bit of history of like your background, where you came from?
Yes. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, well, my background is pretty much a 9-to-5 worker bee. I worked in the office in the warehouse. And after I decided to burn the bridge and, just step out on faith, because I got tired of the rat race, and when I found y'all, I was doing Uber Eats, and I knew there was a better way, because I had actually met you years ago before that, and I was on Peter's email list before that, and I had met Pete through Mark Evans. So, but I was just going through the motions at work, and when I finally broke away from that, I finally decided that this was my chance. It was either now or never. So when I saw your emails starting to do Partner Driven, I knew this was my chance, and I had to dive in, head first.
Hey, Pete, I know you got some good questions for Jamari.
Again, for me, when you talk, when you have nights like this, it's really about building confidence. Jamari, talk a little bit about when you got started. I know you wasn't an overnight success story. I know your first deal didn't have, Patricia was just talking, she's got a couple deals going on, and, she hadn't even been doing this business for, a year or anything like that. To you is different. What kept you going in a game?
Staying plugged in with the family, going to those webinars every Tuesday, and knowing that no matter what, if I keep going and I keep the faith, and I don't give up, and I do exactly what y'all say, then I was going to get there, no matter how long it took, no matter how much punishment I took. It took me a year to get my first deal, but I knew if I never gave up, I would get there.
You know, something that I find very interesting about myself when I got started, part of the reason I didn't quit is I had nothing to quit to. Like, I had nothing to go back to, really. Like, I couldn't like just go out there and get I couldn't be a neurosurgeon. I couldn't go out there and, get an accounting job. I didn't have the right education, what about you? Like, if it wasn't for real estate, what were your other options?
Honestly, Pete, I was in the same boat. I was like, man, if this doesn't work, then I'm just gonna be doing like living Uber to Uber, like people live check to check and living like plasma donation to plasma donation. I had to make it work. I really had no plan B. I just dove in head first, and I was like, this has to work.
I think that's such a profound thing that you said. There's a lot of people who may not have the confidence in what they're doing today. But what I always tell people, yeah, you got to have something you're striving towards. That's very important. But the reality is also figured out. Like, if not this, then what? And I don't mean like, if not this, then what mediocre? I mean, like, if not this, then what really big? If not this, what other like big time options are there? If not this, what is there that can give you the dreams and the goals that you're looking for? It's important to chase something. It's also important to make sure that something's chasing you. And that lack of any other options for me was just a huge thing. Talk a little bit about how you're finding your deals.
This last, like the one that should be cool, well, we ran into a snag with it, but I'm still doing the same thing, driving for dollars and door knocking. All the old school methods they say isn't working, I'm doing them still in 2022.
It's amazing. And right now I would tell people, I think in today's marketplace, if you have some money, if you have some funds, no question, you want to put in some kind of web-based lead gen service. We have one that we like a lot. But then people say, well, Pete, what if I don't? Or what if I can't? Or, what if I can't afford it? And Jamari, I use you so often. It's just the basics are still the basics. And the basics of this business still work. The reality does say that, sure, it'd be great to get 20, Google or Facebook leads a day. But that's just not a reality for everybody. But what is a reality for everybody is that literally, if you're willing to put the time and effort into the basics of this business, they still work. There's no question about it. No question about it.
Yeah. And in regards to that, and I'm a little bit subtle whenever I tell this story about Jamari. Number one, I've had a couple missed opportunities in my life. And one was when Jamari and his mama came to pick up his first check that he got. And I left the office early because I had to do something else. I wished I would have stopped whatever I did and was there that day, because I wanted it for you, like just as much as I wanted it for myself, because of this story that I'm about to tell you. I would say Jamari and I have, kind of similar backgrounds, right? We didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth, did we? No. And I said, like, Jamari was sending handwritten letters and putting stamps on letters to talk to sellers. Jamari, how did you pay for those stamps at that point?
Oh man, I was literally donating plasma, selling my plasma, just to pay for the gas for driving for dollars and for the stamps and for the envelopes to mail to sellers.
Yeah. And I didn't have him tell you that because I think everybody should go sell their plasma. But like, what I mean is that is doing everything you've got to do to be successful. You know what I mean? And everybody should listen to that. Everything you've got to do is not necessarily selling your blood. It may be your time. But without the time and without the motivation that like Patricia had, that Jamari had, then they wouldn't be where they are right now. And I'm happy to say Jamari closes that I know of. You probably closed other deals, but your 15th deal today.
Correct.
And between number like 5 and number 15 has been pretty short. So you've really got a groove going.
Thank you. You know, I saw it because of the family. I put all my trust and faith in y'all, the partner-driven family.
Well, thank you so much, Jamari. You know, you're a testament. You are partner driven. I mean that. I mean, you really are. You are partner driven, because partner driven is not us. It's not, you know, people that work here. It's all of you guys. And hey, I'm glad you're here. I'd be remiss to not have to met you, right? Oh, and I would like to say he's not on the panel tonight, Peter, but I'm pretty excited that one of the original OGs of Partner Driven, Mr. Dale Oglesby, closed his deal today. He always shows up. I just wanted to give you a shout out, Dale, to your closing today. I was very, very excited to see that.
Well, I do appreciate that much, Julie, and Peter, you as well. Even though that's not my first, it's been a long time since we talked about doing a deal and succeeded.
Oh, I know you've done lots and lots and lots of deals, but it's still fun every time. So I'm glad that we did this together this time.
Absolutely, I appreciate it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I want to go to somebody with a little bit different of a story. And that's Mr. Glenn and Judy. I first met in person, Peter, Glenn and Judy back. Remember when we had the event where we toured Atlanta? Was that last year?
Yeah, last spring.
Yep.
I could still remember like walking. Okay, y'all are going to think this is weird. When we were in a cemetery, like I don't even know how we ended up in a cemetery, because we were like touring Atlanta. And I remember talking to Glenn and Judy, and we were walking up through there. But would you guys mind to give me a little bit of your background and like what you've done in the past and kind of like how you got into real estate?
Go ahead.
Well, our past is roller coaster. Neither of us had silver spoons either. We're off the farm, and all the typical American farm stories of where that goes. And Judy took jobs, and I went into the oil field, into construction, and into local government, managing solid waste, and back into construction. And from there, I met people. I started my own business. Judy was in retail. She was a manager. And we kept that going all the way up to, it'll be a common theme, I believe, on this site, to 2008. We pretty much had recovered and got the kids off to college and things, and we were looking at, this might work out. And then 2008 hit. The investors called, says, we don't need your services anymore. They had called the builders group, and the builders told them they weren't going to follow through. And from there, we went into property management, and followed that journey, and went back into business. And over the years, I'd done fix and flips in Raleigh, and my construction, I was based on residential work. And so again, just fixing and doing things and that, but the property management got us on the other side of the table, as I call it. And I mean, we always dealt with the public and did our own trade shows and everything else, but working with seniors, really intensive marketing with that, and caring for people. I mean, a concrete guy is the last place I expected to be. It was in independent living. And basically their training was just to go and do it and treat everybody like your grandmother or your grandfather. And that's really what it was about. And got tons of stories and people that I've met and people we still remember from that. But again, I left property management and got my licenses and stuff and trying to get that off the ground. And then some lady kept calling and was trying to get my business off the ground, bought a bunch of equipment, and she kept calling. And I told her I'd think about it, and she calls again. And then finally one day she says, "Get off your butt and do something." And there she is. It's Julie. And here we are, coming up on our 2-year anniversary soon.
You know what, Glenn? By the way, here at Partner Driven, we have a couple different things. We have Partner Driven and Partner Driven Max, and I'm very serious about both of them. And we had this conversation. Glenn calls me and he literally was like a heart to heart. And he's like, "Is what you're saying, is it true?" This wasn't like a business meeting. This wasn't a Zoom call. And I really meant that, Glenn. And I wanted you and Judy to be on tonight because from doing this from the time that I have, I see when people are right next to serious success. You know what I mean? Like there's you put effort, and then there's success. And I wanted, and I'm not trying to like embarrass or anything like that, because you guys are just successful people, just like you are. Judy's like the property management queen of Florida, you know, and how does that feel? Because I know you've got to believe that same thing too. I mean, you've got deals under contract right now. We're, you know, waiting for them to close, waiting to get them sold. How are you guys feeling?
You want to?
Go ahead.
It feels great or whatever. I mean, it's part of everything, you know, and we'll go back to Jamari or whatever. I mean, I reach out to Jamari from time to time, and I met him in Atlanta, and everything that you guys have shown us, you know, it's volume, and so it feels great. I mean, we've got the pipeline full, and you know, you work some of them and you're trying to get a contract signed, they want to sign, and sometimes it's their emotions, sometimes it's you can't make the numbers fit the model or and things like that, but you go on to the next one because I got people to call. And getting back to Atlanta, when we were meeting with you and Peter and everybody, one of the things that I've done all my life, and it's why I was asked to be someone's owner's representative or whatever. I don't know. I just have a sense when I meet business people and such, and that was essentially my job for this guy, because he just followed the sparkling crystal, and you know, I could tell if someone was full of BS or someone was didn't quite have what they were representing, and then you had people that were genuine and things like that. And then on the other side of it too, I did background checks on everybody. But
You did a background check on me?
I wouldn't say that.
Hey, well, thank God I was good when I was in my early 20s, or didn't get caught at least.
Because I lived through 2008, and let me tell you, that's when I started doing it. And the scariest part is when nothing shows up. That's when you better start worrying, when nothing shows up. And so anyway, yeah, I mean, it feels great. Back to Atlanta, you know, I was doing everything that you had taught us and doing everything and such. And I asked Peter, what am I missing? And Peter, this isn't a negative when I say it this way. Sometimes Peter's answers are a riddle. And you want a clear answer, yes, no, do this will work. But he'll give you some riddle, and I'm slow. It might take me a few weeks chewing on it. And then I'm like, okay, well, his was plug the holes. And that was the first step. Made major gains when I was able to plug some holes, get some calls going. Got an amazing caller. She's just awesome. I don't want to be without her. And that brought up the volume. And then, getting the calls, Jamari does the old school stuff and everything and is filling his pipeline. And just the nature of where I'm stuck right now, I have to get the right people around me. And I can't knock on the doors the way I would. I would model myself after Jamari if I could. But I just raised the volume. And again, that came from Peter, because again, I just couldn't get past the next closed door. I mean, why isn't this happening? And it's very frustrating when everyone tells you you're doing the right things, you're doing it right, but well, I ain't panning out if I'm doing it right. And what's the next thing? And again, was volume. And that's what Pete said to do. Just whatever is working, do more of it. And I mean, I don't follow the numbers on the deal engine or the engine, but I know the numbers are up there, and what the ladies do and the stuff that we put into it and the follow-ups. Typically, if I'm getting home at this time of night or whatever, I'm going through it or whatever, and I'll review it. And with a little bit of time that I got, I'm pretty clear. This ain't worth my time. I might put, if I'm in a good mood, it goes into follow-up. I might assign it to my caller. I'll tell her, please follow up with these people tomorrow. And also, when I'm out on the road during the day, if I see responses, and I know how it's working, how it's set up and stuff, it might be, they might get a response if I don't respond. Sometimes I'm so busy, I'll call my caller and text her the name. Please give this lady a call right now. And she will. And because I trust her to qualify them and set it. I mean, and she'll even set up appointments for me on Saturday, and I can be in Jacksonville, wherever I'm at. But yeah, that's what Pete said. Just do more of what it is, and it's the pipeline's full.
Let me piggyback on that, because what you said is so profound, Glenn, that I bet most people didn't even get what you just said. But this is, a lot of times people will say, the secrets and what are the tricks and what would you do? And, and I do share with them, kind of what I call the shortcuts to success, because I do believe that there are shortcuts to success. And one of the frustrating things for people many times is they will be like, the problem with this business, Pete, is there's just too many unknowns, right? It's not like a McDonald's. You could buy a McDonald's today and you'll know exactly 5 months from now where you're going to be. You'll know pretty well where you're going to be 9 months from now. There's just, it's a McDonald's and stuff like that. And they're right. Real estate is not like that. It's not like an engineering project. But there are a couple things you control. And by controlling these couple things, you do have the ability at a point in time to make this business a lot more predictable. And you definitely, by controlling these couple things, have the ability to get to success quicker. And here's what the big one is, and it's exactly what Glenn mentioned a couple times here, and I want to pinpoint it one more time. The one thing that you do have control of is you have control of your numbers. You have control of your numbers. You know, when I was faced, 22 some years ago with losing it all. I mean, literally, when I started, like I mentioned, the first 6 deals I did, I would have bet the house that I was going to make money on every single one of them. And literally, as every single one of them closed, I looked at the accounting of it and I was like, how can I, and I lost, and not only did I lose money, I lost money like big time. And as I brought my first mentor on board back then, his name was Barton, he taught me this whole shortcut to success of controlling the numbers. Now, the numbers that he and I back then, 22 years ago, decided to control for me was 2. That became my rallying cry. And that was very simple. Back then, I wanted to have 2 people every day to at least raise their hand and tell me that they would be open to selling. Whatever that looked like. Didn't have to be a good deal. Didn't have to be any, it was just 2 people who I contacted. And back then, everything was a cold contact for me. I didn't have money on inbound marketing, nothing. But that became my rallying cry. Those 2 people a day to at least raise their hand and say, well, yeah, I guess I'll sell it to you. And I kid you not, guys, if you were to put a gun to my head and say, okay, you're at 0 again, how would you rebuild it? That's how I would rebuild it. This is exactly what I would do to rebuild it today. I would, if I had no money, if I had no contacts, if I had no expertise, I would absolutely get nothing more than a cold list. I tap into something like Deal Driven, and I would dial every day, however long it took me, and I would get two people to say, yeah, I guess I'll sell. That is this, people like sometimes like, Pete, no way. That's it right there. 2 years after doing that, I looked at my checking account. And remember, I was basically homeless. I looked at my checking account a couple of years after doing that, and I had $1 million in one of my accounts. And when people say, well, how was it? It was exactly what Glenn said. I started controlling my numbers. I just figured out what it would take. When I met Barton, my mentor, I wasn't at the numbers I needed to be to get 2. I was at the point where I could get maybe 1 on a lucky day. But we just figured out after a while that, okay, for my goals, for where I wanted to be, I had to get to 2. And remember, I had no money. I didn't have the shortcuts that so many of you guys have today, the ability to stack lists, the ability to skip trace. The only kind of skipping I did was skip a doodle, back to my house every day, because I couldn't afford a gas. That was my only skipping I did. But beyond that, it was just, that was it right there. I needed to get to the point where I could generate 2 people to tell me yes. Okay. And so the point is this, guys, for those of you, again, that are a little bit too frustrated right now, remember, you control how many. You control how many outbound calls you make. You control how many reaches you make. You control how many contacts you make. And there's not a single person here, I would say, maybe there is, but probably every single one of us could bump it up a notch. Every single one of us could take it to the next level. Every single one of us. And this is the shocking thing, because a lot of times I'll do this as an exercise with some partners, and then they'll get back to me like, oh my God, Pete, 50% increase in what I was able to do. And I thought I was tapped out, or like, oh my God, Pete, I can't believe I'm doing another, 20 to 30% increase. And I thought I was tapped out. Every single one of us could do more in terms of the marketing side and contacting side. And don't forget that.
Well,
Yeah.
So that was a good point. Sorry, Julie. Glenn, brilliant. Out of all the things I might have said that might have been too cryptic, I'm glad you got that one. Okay. because that's straightforward.
back, when the corporate marketing and whatever, that's why I understand what you guys are saying and doing and whichever. I mean, we were recorded. They knew what time I turned the computer on in the morning, and we were monitored on everything. And they drilled it in there. It takes 20 calls to get someone to answer. It takes 20 people to answer before you get someone in the to come in to possibly show them an apartment. It takes 20 showings to rent an apartment. So multiply that out, and that's the pipeline that you need. I
You
mean,
got it.
and for those that, you know, for whatever reason, you know, I mean, because resources, time, and everything else. Well, whatever it is, make the call, keep doing it, and such. And the only thing, the next level is if I can get out of that car with what we're doing right now with the volume and everything else. Call me a braggart if you want, but you haven't seen anything until I get out of that car. Because,
Oh, I can't, I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
because it doesn't matter when I had my concrete business, or whatever I was doing or whatever. Yes, I have a bit of an intensity to me when I have the time and capability. So stand back.
Yeah. And I would like to say this. I love working with you, Glenn and Judy. I'm not just saying this, but he wants this for you. That, you know, and your family, because him and I have conversations, just, you know, him and I, and, you know, sometimes, like, to hear how much somebody cares about their spouse and how much they want it for their spouse as well as themselves, it really touches my heart. You know what I
Coming
mean?
up to 45 years almost.
45 years.
Yes.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Julie's like,
Another year.
that's older than me.
44 this year.
Well, it's a blessing to work with you guys, and I cannot wait to just see this thing blossom, to see it grow. Thank you so much for being on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank
As
you
a
for
matter of
having
fact, Julie, I apologize. And one more thing. Some of you, I want to challenge you. Increase your numbers tonight. Don't overthink it. Don't overdo it. Don't over strategize it. Just simply increase your numbers. If, like, you're at the point where you're making, I don't know, 5 calls a day or 50 calls a day, I just challenge you, bump it up. Bump it up, sustain it, bump it up, sustain it, bump it up, sustain it. And here's the crazy thing about it. You'll always have the ability to bump it up. It's amazing. You know, I did this exercise at where was I? Oh, at Tony Robbins, right? And what he did is he had everybody stand up, and he's like, stretch out your arms as high as you can, you know, get on your tippy toes, right? And so everybody did, like, okay, this is as high as and then Robbins says from the stage, he goes, everybody reach higher. And 100% of people reach higher. This is why I thought this is as high as I can go. And Robbins like, reach higher. And I'm just telling you guys, the basics of this business of contacting owners, every one of us, all of us, I say us, all of us could do more. All of us could do more. So I challenge you to do that. Sorry, Julie.
No, there's no need to apologize. Thank you so much, Glenn and Judy. We really appreciate it. Thank you for letting, you know, everybody know exactly, you know, where you are, what you've been doing. And hey, congratulations on all those years being together. Not many people can say that. So I know y'all ain't quitters. Well, all right. So I want to talk about somebody else too. This woman right here, she leads with her heart. Okay. Whenever someone says, I need help, she will do it without asking for anything in return. Do you know how special that is of a person to help others without asking for something else in return? She shows up every day for her kids, She shows up every day for herself and for her family. She's been through a lot over the last couple of years. And I'll tell you, one of the first conversations I had with her, she had one doubt about this business. And she said, Julie, I am not from here like you are. Right? When people hear me talk, they immediately are pushed away. And I didn't agree with her. I'm like, no, you got the cutest little, I mean, everything is just great about you. Right? So Marina is a beautiful soul, a beautiful person. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Marina.
Julie, that just touched my heart. Thank you so much. Really, I was all nervous over here, but then you put that out there. How can I be nervous no more?
Yeah.
But really, for me, it's always been a challenge, I guess, for me, because when I got here to this country 20 years ago, I didn't speak any English. So I got myself into retail. I remember going to the customer service manager for a week, and all of what I was able to tell him was, hey, I put in an application. That's legit, was the sentence that I told him entire week. So he was like, this chick is so determined. Finally got me for an interview. I started off as a part-time cashier. I worked my way up all the way to a store manager, as you all guys know. So not that I have an issue talking to people, because of course, through my retail career, I talk to all type of kind of people, all kind of people. I am very good at talking to people. I'm big, huge on helping people, promoting people, grow people. I see so much potential in every single person. Just for me, for some reason, I just want to help everybody. So when I find out about you guys, I wanted to get into real estate before. And I started to research and doing the different things. And of course, I came across like everybody else would, right? Go on all the seminars, have all the Zoom calls, go on one seminar, then pay for the weekend, then do this and do that. And everybody want to teach you things, but nobody really want to teach you how to do things. Nobody. Everybody is talking about using everybody else's money. And they're like, here's a book, learn, go from there. I don't learn like that. I am in a moment. I learn in a moment. So Peter came across my email somehow. Don't even know how I guess I came across Peter. I remember having the first Zoom call with Peter, and I didn't pay attention too much to it because I was like, I don't know. I don't trust him. For some reason, something was like, yeah, I'm not sure about this. Then again and again, and then I started doing my research. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I will never come across anybody who wants to fund all of the deals, who wants to train me from the start to end, who provides all these tools, provides this big old family. Like to me, you sold me right there. When I started talking to the back office, and it took me 3 times, I'm not gonna lie, I am not the type of person that puts a lot of money into something that I'm not 100% sure. I guess coming from my background, having nothing like everybody else, right? Working retail, working extremely hard for what I have to take care of my kids, to take care of my family. But I finally said, you know what, retail is enough. This is not for me. And I found Peter. I trusted you guys are a partner driven with everything I had. And when I went to a life event, I know I told you all, and I told Peter, and I told Julie, and I told all of you guys, I knew I have your back no matter where you go, because you guys legit care for each and every single one of us. And to me, not having family here means everything. You guys are my family. And I don't have to even, for all of you guys who are trying to think like whether you should go with Peter and Julie or not, go ahead and do your research. Go ahead and go on all the seminars. Learn how to use every other people's money. All what they're gonna tell you to do is pull up more credit cards. That you can't go nowhere. Plus, for me, the biggest thing was for me, I didn't want to learn on my own mistakes. Peter already made them. Why would I be making my mistakes now, going into real estate, not knowing anything about it? So seriously, like having the trainings daily, having being able to pick up a call and call anybody you need them. We have a Zoom calls from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. You are at the appointment, you jump on a Zoom call and you ask your questions. There is nobody out there who can provide it. Being all of your deals being funded through Peter, you don't have to worry about where am I gonna get all this money to buy this house, to fix this house. I don't have to worry about that. Because all I have to do is just get my contracts, send them out to them. And guess what? Even if it is in a different area, and I can have you pictures showing right now. I have deals, 2 people reach out to me. One last week in Asheville, North Carolina, which is 4 hours away from me. One is in somewhere else, don't even know, in Texas. I posted on the Facebook, hey, do we have a partner or a realtor in a group? Mary from the back office, sending me a realtor straight up to my phone. Like, this is a family. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, you can't even. When I went to a struggle, like what Julie about a couple of months, I had a difficult situation, personal situation, that I could not be involved with anything at all, but business doesn't stop. All I had to do is pick up a phone and make a phone call. And my business continue running. Peter and Julie and everybody in the back office and people to my appointments have all the communication. Gloria, Erica, talk to every single person. For entire 2 months that I was isolated from entire world, going through what I went through, partner driven took care of me. And therefore I will be forever here. Even if I make whole house, not even if, when I make millions, I'll always be here. So that's my background.
Girl, we going on vacation.
Drop the mic.
I'll say this too, and this is something a little bit different, but Peter knows this. I've struggled with like health for years, right? And not struggle, I didn't even try. Do you know, watching you go to your workouts every day, like literally, I kid you not, like I today even had the same thought. I was with my personal trainer today and was getting my butt handed to me. And I thought to myself, I went, well, Marina did it. If she could do it, I could do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really, like, that was so, you know, you inspire me. I know 1000%, because that's, I mean, I had that thought today. And I'm like, I'm going to be a little bit skinnier. I'm going to be healthier, because if she did it, I could do it. So
we all inspired each other here. Like, seriously, Jamari, Peter, Tina waking up at 4:40, that's never going to be me. Let me just put that out right now. Never going to be me. 7 to 6:30 is good for me. When I used to work retails, yes, I get up at 3, 4 o'clock, please. Like, whenever it takes, whatever it takes. But see them going to the gym like every single day. Like, I see Jamari's post every day. I see Peter's over there with his weights. So then I'm like, oh, fine, I'm gonna get up and go myself too. So I signed up for a boot camp because gym wasn't for me. I need someone who can push me and show me and being a part of something. And that's why I joined the Partner Driven too, because I felt a part of the family. And like everybody, just like going through the toughest time that I went a couple of months with during the Christmas time of all times, knowing how many people thought of me and connect back with me and checked on me, and you all guys having the phone calls and the text messages, hey, I'm here for you. That's priceless to me. That's all what I'm looking for. That's all I gotta say.
You know, I could tell you guys, when someone believes something, you could just feel it. You could just feel it. And, you know, and a lot of times you hear things, well, you got to fake it till you make it. I get it. I faked it for so long. I mean, I used to go into these mansions, or back then to me, they were mansions. There were $100,000 homes. And I had to fake it to a degree, because I'm sitting here, you know, I don't have enough, you know, fluid to, what are they called? Power steering fluid, for those people that remember. I didn't have power steering in my car. So like, I was trying to figure out how I could buy power steering fluid so I can maneuver backwards out of their driveway, you know, without making 1,000 turns back and forth. And I'm sitting here telling them I could buy your $100,000 home. But I believed. I mean, I really, really believed. I believed in this business. And I think people felt that I believed. I knew this was the business. I knew I would figure it out. I knew that I would raise the capital when I needed to. And when you hear someone like a Marina talk, the one thing, forget everything else. You feel the confidence in the young lady. It just exudes confidence. And man, let me tell you something. And I talk about this all the time. People want to be around people that are confident. People want to follow people that are confident. People want to make decisions around people that are confident. So Marina, my hat's off to you. What can I say? Phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. We love that you're part of the team. We love that you're part of Partner Driven and everything that we're all about here. And we're just super, super glad and fortunate that I think you said I don't know how you heard about us, but however you heard about us, we're so glad you did.
Oh, yeah.
Me
It
too.
strings. Yeah.
And I
phenomenal.
didn't say that I have my deal coming up to be closed on the 28th.
You got a what? Tell me again.
The 28th, our closing, second deal. I'm waiting for one to be signed right now to be under contract. The one that I drove to Asheville for.
Is this the one where the seller went haywire on us?
Yes.
This is a crazy deal, guys. This is determination. This is a buyer. I'm sorry, not the buyer. This is a seller that's somewhere in there. I think we thought that maybe, somebody else gave him a higher offer and one thing led to another. And I just, Mary was like, you know what, we'll file a lawsuit. I'm like, no, we're not. We're just going to send Marina there. And part of the reason I said that you can go deal with him because you exude confidence. I knew that somewhere along the line, you were able to contact that seller, that just your confidence alone would move that in the right direction. So congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
That's awesome. Good job.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Pete.
Yes, ma'am.
Not last but not least, by the way, guys, this again tonight is not about Peter. It's not about Julie. It's about you guys. So once we're done with the next person, whether you guys that are on the panel like it or not, I'm going to open it up for questions for you guys. Okay. So you're going to answer everyone's questions this evening. But I'd be remiss not to talk about one of the coolest dudes ever.
I agree.
I mean, I just love Graham and Jenny. I mean, they are like just awesome people. Not only are they awesome, they're awesome because they're always there to do. They're always there to do what it takes. Even down to going and cleaning out rabbit poop out of a house. Okay. Even down to when I said, hey, Graham, will you help? You and Glenn, will y'all help me try something? Right. Well, you guys help me motivate others. He has never, ever said no. He has never, ever said, I can't. And they've got a great background of what they've done to get to where they are. And guys, let me tell you, just like everybody that's been in front of me, it is just the beginning. It is just the beginning, because the commitment that these folks have made is amazing. Another thing that I'd like to say, his commitment to his wife, Jenny, is also a blessing and a wonderful thing. I like to actually say that it's a commitment from Jenny to Graham, not the other way around. I am just kidding. But Graham, tell everybody a little bit about like yours and Jenny's background. I know y'all been through a lot over the years. You've had some good things, you've had some bad things, but tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm not from around these parts for a start. So, like Marina, I wasn't born and bred here in this country. I came from the UK. I've been here 30 years. I spent most of my life in the rock and roll business, doing live concert production, everything from being a roadie, a tech, to being a production manager, a road manager, taking care of it. It's a business that taught me there is a process that has to be followed. It's all about the basics. It's all about A, B, C, D, E, because if one component isn't in place, nothing else will ever work. And there's a correlation that I figured out, which is blindingly obvious, which is real estate business is very much the same. You can't build any business, let alone a real estate business, if you don't follow the basics, if you don't do the steps, the ABC. And I retired from that late 90s and went into construction, did that. And then I originally wanted to get in real estate in 97 when I was married to my first wife here, okay? And she was like, no, it's not gonna happen, never. It's everybody talks about, don't let the naysayers kill your dream. And I fell victim to it, I did. I killed it off. And I kept studying, I kept learning, I kept reading stuff. And a lot of it was, sorry, dog.
Hey, what's going on?
All right, sorry, somebody walked by the front door.
That's okay. I just had one of my kids call, so that's okay.
Okay. So I lost my train of thought here too. Anyway, I learned everything. I read things. I signed up for all the trainings from various different gurus, and basically I was chasing shiny objects for a long time. And the crash came. I should have jumped back in then. I didn't. Just never happened. And I kept learning. I kept chasing stuff. And one night I happened to be online. I went to a site that I'd done other things through, and Peter and Julie were on there, and they talked about partner driven. I thought, this is the first time I've heard this. We've signed up for other programs. And one of those particular programs, if you want coaching, they're not going to answer questions for you. You spend all this money on the course, but if you got a question, oh no, that's an extra $50,000. You got to pump it. And when I listened to Peter and Julie, it was like, if this is as good as it sounds, this is exactly what I've been looking for the last 25 years. And it's not what I was looking for. It's even better than I could have ever imagined what this was going to be about. We signed up. I talked to Jen. We initially did this something for Jen's mom to do, keep her busy, because she just lost her husband and so on and so forth. And I kind of got into to help guide her, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And then we joined Max, and you could have wiped me off the floor when I said to Jen, hey, check out Julie's video on Facebook when she was talking about Max. And Jen goes, okay, let's talk to her. I'm like, really? And I was like, seriously? Okay.
Usually it's no. It's
Right.
more money for nothing.
That's
You know,
right.
more
I know.
money for nothing.
Yeah, it's dollar store or nothing. So anyway,
Shush.
it's true, isn't it? So long story short, we got involved in it, and I gotta tell you, it's the best thing that has ever happened to us. And everything I've done in my life, and at the age I'm at now, and all the good and the bad and everything else that happened to us, I feel so comfortable with this organization, and it's a family, is what it is. This is a true family. We have so many good friends we've made here. We got Marina and Glenn and Jamari. I mean, Jamari's a rock star. All these guys are rock star. Every single partner in this company is a rock star. You can ask them questions anytime you want. Carl is one of my favorites because his why, if you ever get to know him, is something that will bring tears to your eyes and will give you goosebumps. If you ever want to hear a reason to do something, talk to Carl. He's the man when it comes to that. I mean, his vision, his focus is beyond words that I can explain. Outside of that, it's it's like I said, it's about the basics. I love this business. I love this company. I love this family, and it's a family. This is true family. You can ask questions, like I said, anytime you want to. We become friends. We've got so many friends on here. The support from Peter and Julie is phenomenal. From the coaches, from Bob, from Barry, from Tommy, from Stefan, it's outstanding. But behind it all are the guys you don't see. Is the back office. Is Laura, is Mary, is Julie, is Christine, it's Daniela. All these guys, for the guys that are on the call tonight, running the call in the background, without them being active every day and working their butts off to get out and deal with all the partners and get what they need to them as quickly as possible, the job they do is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I've never seen anything like it anywhere. And what it does, it gives us the confidence to move forward. There are times, and Julie will back me up on this, there was a point where I just said, you know what? No, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. We had our first deal, I think, about 2 months after we joined Max, and it just fell to pieces because the guy wouldn't drop where it needed to be. And now he's way below, 30,000 below where he said he would never go. And that's up to him. That's his choice. At the end of the day, I don't know what else I can say other than if you're serious about this business, if you truly are serious, and if you believe in what you want to do, if you have that dream and you really, really want to achieve it, this is it.
This is it.
Right here. There is nothing else. And trust me, I've been through pretty much every single one that's ever been released. And I've made some good friends from there, but I've never, ever been a part of a family like this one, ever. And it empowers us. And it gets me through those days of frustration. It gets me through those times when I question what I'm doing, when I question the decisions that I'm making. And it just really, the support is phenomenal. And it's not just about making a phone call or asking a question. It's that it's the untold, the unspoken support. The fact you know that there is this energy in this family that just supports everybody. I mean, that's how I see it. That's how we see it.
Well, Graham, you guys are so sweet, but I mean, and this is an easy phrase to say, but I don't think anything would be like it is without you guys. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been on like a training call where somebody else is down, and I hope it's okay, I'm just talking candid, guys, and they're down, and then I say something and it's like, well, yeah, because you're you own the company, but you guys help me.
We help each other.
And I'll be forever grateful for that, for building, just like you, Marina, Patricia, Jamari, like Glenn and Judy and everybody that's on this call tonight. Like, you are partner driven. This is what we decide to build. You know, it's so funny. Like, I never thought about like being an entrepreneur. And then I got this idea. I'm like, you know what? We can build whatever we want to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a novel thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You, I'm pointing at little faces on a Zoom screen, but like, we can do whatever we want to do. Mm-hmm. Any idea can be implemented tomorrow. Any, motivation can be implemented tomorrow. And I'll say that I am very, very excited to have both of you.
Thank you.
Just to be my friend. Money's one thing, but thank you for being my friend.
Thank you for being my friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't stick baby in a corner.
If you've got a dream, follow it. If you've got a dream, you're going to trip up. You're going to fall down. It's how you get up again and take the next step forward. That's, to me, is what defined this. And I had a pivotal moment after joining Partner Driven. And Bob Hildreth will tell you this because he and I talked about it. And it was during that period where I was getting really frustrated, and it's like, oh God, I gotta go work 16 other jobs, you know, and yada, yada, yada. And the answer was really simple in the end. It was all about mindset. It was about me changing how I thought, what I did, and how I went about doing things, and just keep going, stay anchored to the basics, work the business. This is a numbers game. There's going to be frustrations along the way. For example, today I had an hour and a half meeting with a seller. It didn't work out because what he wanted is pretty much retail, and he was adamant he wasn't going any lower. But it turns out he'd flipped a few houses, and he also works in construction. So I talked to him and said, look, you know, if I get a house, are you interested in helping out the construction site? So I saw what he did in the property that I went to see today, and you build relationships along the way. We ran into a cash buyer who is looking for rental units, small multifamilies, quads, five doors, or just regular single family residences on the list. He said, whatever you got, let me know first before you do anything else. He goes, I'm all over the country doing this. Okay, you find these people. It's one foot in front of the other. You're going to get down. You're going to have rough days. You just got to power through. Keep focused on what you want, and you'll achieve it.
Yeah, I've been frustrated the last week because we had 3 people that were going to sign contracts.
Oh, yeah.
We even had an emergency rush over to one in California. Dead silence. And Graham's been following up, and I'm like, this is so frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Because you think you're going to get that contract. Nope.
But on the flip side of that, a guy that we were talking to back the end of the summer, back in early August, and said, call me the end of August. Got a property he wanted to sell. Disappeared off the face of the planet. He was too busy. He was out of town. He has other investment. Yeah, James Kovac. And we sent out the follow-up email, 3 or 4 days ago?
Saturday.
You sent it out Saturday. He responded right back. He goes, so where do we leave it? Oh, well, Graham and you had an appointment set up, and then you were too busy and didn't show up, and you never answered anything else. You never responded after that. He goes, oh, okay, sorry about that. So what do you want to do? Well, let's set up another appointment, damn it, and we'll go, we'll buy a house. So it's Peter teaches this all the time. I'm not going to say preach because he doesn't, but it's teaching. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. It may not be the right time. Now the stars aren't aligning correctly. Doesn't mean they're not going to in a month or 3 months, 6 months, however long it is. You keep them on follow up. You make the phone calls and keep going. Jamari knows this. I mean, Jamari is a freaking rock star. I mean, for what he does, everyone that's spoken tonight are rock stars. They're all, I consider them all friends. We have our group that we all chat to. Let's just keep going. Just don't ever doubt who you are and what you're capable of doing. Just do it. Just keep going. You're going to have bad days, but they are never going to be as bad as the good days. Because I tell you what, you could go through all the frustration. And when you do that first deal and that wire lands in your bank account and you open it up and you look at it and you go, holy, it's awesome. It doesn't matter how much it is. It doesn't matter at all.
Knowing it's done.
It's the fact that you did it. You went through the process. You took the beatings, you overcame the frustrations, the self-doubt and everything else, and you followed through and you did it. And when that lands in your bank account, I don't care if it's $5, you did it. And there is no better feeling on this planet than knowing that you did it. I earned this money. I got this in the account. You got to keep going. Don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. Fortune favors the brave. I know, I got cut off. Right.
I am definitely not cutting you off, man. I just get so excited because people are like, people ask me like, on like a call where they want to talk about joining partner driven, and they'll say, well, how much money can I make on my first deal? And
How long's
I
a piece?
always say it doesn't really matter. Do you know why it doesn't matter? I mean, it does. It's cool to like, money's cool, right?
Mhm.
But that first deal creates this confidence level that nobody can ever take away from you.
And momentum.
Yes. And nobody can stop you from there. And I wish that we would get past the money sometimes and get past, just get the first deal done. Because when you see it from start to finish, then the confidence that you exude and that you feel will take you on to your second, your third, your thousandth deal, right?
Yep. Yep.
So that first deal is actually, it's the hardest.
Yeah.
It is absolutely the hardest because you've got to learn all this stuff and all these things happen. So the last question I have, and by the way, we're going to open up for questions, okay? But everybody wants to know what free Jenny, hashtag free Jenny means.
That's when I don't have to keep that. Oh, never mind. Anyway, you can explain that.
Well, I didn't create it.
No, you did, Julie.
Julie did.
Yep.
And I've been working for the same company for 20 years now. And I'm ready for retirement. I'm not old enough physically, but mentally, I want to retire. I drive an hour each way,
Mhm.
3 days a week. It used to be 5 days a week before COVID,
Mhm.
but I just want to retire and focus on the real estate business.
And it was a conversation. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but that was a conversation that we all had. The three of us had way back in the early days. And I said, our goal is to get Jenny out of her job.
And they
Julie
sent me
said,
this
hashtag
picture
free
of
Jenny.
Jenny in the basement. And I'm like, nobody puts baby in the corner. You know what I mean?
I work in a very back cube and I got fortunately, I have a lot of privacy. So I can watch the max meetings on Thursdays when I'm there. I don't get bothered,
Mhm.
but I'm done with the drive. I'm done with the working for somebody else.
Mhm.
Well, hey, everybody, I don't know. Is this hashtag?
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen some kids do this. So hashtag free Jenny.
That's right.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys, man. Y'all are freaking amazing. And I know we're running late. I'll stay on. Listen, these questions are not for Peter and me. Okay. So don't even ask me nothing. This is for Patricia, for Jamari, for Marina, for Graham and Jenny, for Glenn and Judy. Okay. Here's an opportunity. If y'all are y'all okay with going a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Y'all promise? Okay. So I'm gonna take some questions live and I'm gonna bring you on. So Dale, do you have a question for one of them or not?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to make a statement for all these people that are here and not done deals, and Graham and everyone that's talking about quitting your job and the 9 to 5. And in my life, it used to be 6 to 6 and 7 to 7. But I just want to let people know that I did quit my job because I knew in my mind that is exactly what I wanted to do. I would not settle for anything less. We only have one life to live, and most of us are over halfway there. But outside of that, Julie, before I started my business in 2006, I did my first deal was a quick claim deal. I didn't know a lot about what I was doing, but nevertheless, I made $8,000 on the first deal. These were just things that I learned from going to school, talking to people, learning all I could learn. To my surprise, my second deal was on vacant land, 17 and a half acres. And I remind myself all the time, I made $271,000 plus just on that land alone. But I've never looked back. This is 16 years later, and I continue to do my deals. And but nevertheless, I continue training here, trying to help other people. I listen to what I learned here from Peter, you, everyone. you never forget where you came from, what you learned, and share that with other people. And that's what this is all about here right now. That's why we're here. That's what we're doing. You know, I have people ask me questions, call me, text me. I'm being more than glad to help them anytime that I can, because that's your family. You work together, you help each other. And so it's, I just hope people understand about that. Don't say, I would like to quit my job. Say, how can I? When can I? And make it happen. It's just that simple. It may seem impossible to do. Do you think I started out knowing that I could have failed on the first deal and lost my butt and house and everything else? But I knew just enough about a title company, title inspections, title search, get all those things done, protect yourself no matter what you do in this business, because you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. But also doing deals I can't begin to get into because we take the rest of the night to talk about those things. But I just want to share this with people. Like Graham said, this is make your dreams come true. It's up to you. I can listen to Julie, I can listen to Peter, I can listen to all these coaches all day long. But what you need to do is do it your way. Pick something out that works for you and follow that dream. Make it come true, and then move on to the next dream. And good luck to everyone. And I hope you succeed and just do it your way sooner or later. We're here with Peter. We're here with Julie, and we're working to learn what we can learn. But what you need to do is take that and do it your way.
I love it, Dale. You know what? We're just going to do a Tuesday night just with Dale, Pete. Hey, you think I'm kidding? I'll be calling
like it.
in a couple
like
of days. All right. So if you will just raise your Zoom hand. Hey guys, everybody started out where you are. I'm serious. Ask the questions you're afraid to ask. Somebody else is thinking the same thing. All right. So raise your Zoom hand. If not, we'll be ending. All right, Carl.
Good evening. Just on what you were saying about the guy, about Marina. I mean, Marina, I can't say enough about Marina. Marina, when I'm Karen in the live weekend we had and everything, and started talking to her and changed her whole life around. I mean, she's when we were doing the auction and everything, she did a video for us. I mean, she's one of the reasons why me and Karen are still here, along with Peter and Julie, Graham, Glenn, Jamari. I watch Jamari all the time on Instagram and stuff like that. Jamari actually literally showed me how to do door knocking. But my question, there was a point in time where I was done. I was ready to quit. I actually said it on the call. And Graham turned around and said to me, said what he said tonight. And by the way, Graham, thank you. Because for a while now, I've been struggling. I've really been struggling. But my question to all of you is, and Graham kind of went through it, is when you are quitting, when you are in that position where you want to quit, and when everything's just falling apart and stuff, what is it that you guys grab a hold of and hang on to? I mean, mine is my why, and Graham got into that. My why is to open up a treatment center and, in a homeless shelter. That's my why. I want to be able to give back to something that, for a lot of years took me down a road that was dark and everything like that. I just want to be able to help other people that's been there. So that's my question is, when it is, everything seems to be falling apart. When it is, no matter, you can make 100 calls, nobody answers, make 1,000 calls, nobody answers. When it just seems like everything's falling apart. What is it of yours that you guys do that keeps you hanging on?
Can I jump in on this?
Go ahead, Johnny. But hey, first, do you have a question?
No, I just want to give him a quick answer, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Listen, when the world is upside down, one example is I almost lost 3 members of my family, left me alone. You got to hold on to that faith. No disrespect to anybody. You have to hold on to that faith. God will take you. We have to fall down to get up. We have to crawl before we can run. When you think everything is turned over, get on those knees and says, God, I just need you to guide me through this time. I know I have to go through it, but just hold my hand, guide me and my family, that we will succeed in what we do. The determination that he shows us is never, never, never quit. Why? We are an image of him. He teaches us we must continue on this path. Even though terrible times are coming, I am with you. At the end, you will see the glory. No disrespect to anybody on religion.
No, Johnny,
But,
Johnny, there's definitely no disrespect. That is great advice, honey.
But that's all I want to say. When you think the bad is bad, just keep going. Like we say in Puerto Rico, pull that tighter, stand up straight, and keep going. No matter what happens, there's light at the end of the tunnel. It may seem that we're not going to make it, but let me tell you, I've been there and I've done that, and I tell everybody, we must fall down to succeed and achieve our goal. Never say never, never say I can't, and never say I won't. Why? We are image of God, and we will continue, and he will lead us whatever.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Johnny. I think you're breaking up a little bit, but hey, I got the message, man. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to take that question first to Patricia.
I would say the same thing that Johnny said. Each and every night I have on my wall a serenity prayer. And I read that in the morning time, and I read that at night before I go to sleep. Just take it one day at a time. Give your faith to God that everything's going to go through. Like you said, you're going to have some good days, you're going to have some bad days. But you got to fight. You got to continue to fight. No matter what's going in front of you, you got to continue to fight. It'll pull you through.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, Jamari.
Yeah, just piggybacking on what everyone said, just going off of the evidence of things unseen. You just got to walk on faith. And for me, it's no matter how hard it's gotten right now, it's still better than what I walked away from. And I just got to keep it going, because no matter what, I can't go back to the way it was. I got to keep going. Because as bad as it might get, it's still better than what I walked away from. There's a rapper, Scarface. He had a good saying. He said, there's 3 phases in life. You're either going into a storm, you're in a storm, or you're coming out of a storm, So, it's just 3 phases in life, and just keep walking on faith and keep going. And always remember, there's always somebody doing worse than you, and all in gratitude. I'm big on gratitude. I have a gratitude journal. There's always something to be thankful for. You know what I mean? So lean on gratitude. Keep moving on faith, and Carl, don't give up, man. You're almost there. Just keep going, brother.
I love it. I love it. All right, Glenn.
You're muted, mate.
Well, I guess I might be a little bit different. I don't have quit in me. There are roadblocks that surely slow me down or threaten to stop me. So it's not a case of myself quitting. It's capabilities. I don't have anybody to fall back on to get through the next roadblock, whether it be financial or well, that's pretty much it. But so, I mean, it's not a question of, I guess I've been blessed with that. I've been in concrete pours, that ungodly happenings or whatever. Emotion and what do we do now is not going to fix the situation. You just get it done. Use the resources you got, and then that applies to this business. Sometimes it slows you down. Maybe it's going to take you a week to figure out how to get through this. Sometimes it might be longer. You just keep going. I do realize that God's going to make it happen. And, you just ask for a solution, and somewhere, somehow, somebody answers, and it's been panning out. So like I said, I'm a little bit different. The quit's not there. I wouldn't make it to 64 years if it had. I need a few more hours. I can tell you what we've been through, but so this isn't as difficult as what we've been through. So just keep going.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn. All right, Marina.
So, Carl, the same thing for me. Obviously, the Lord, He knows and what you need and what you deserve. And if He put you on this path, He knows the reason why you're here. He wouldn't put you on here if you would not be successful. Somewhere down the line, He's definitely going to deliver His promise. You just have to believe and trust in Him. And it's not a failure. You're not failing. There is no failure. There's just the obstacles on your way and the challenges. And as long as you have challenge on the front of you and you go through it every day, you wake up and you know your why, like Peter always said, your why has to be strong enough for you to crave it, for you to want it. The other thing, Carl, for me, you guys all know that I see a positive side of every single situation. No matter how bad the situation is, it is something positive in that situation. So every day you woke up, you're able to make the phone calls, you're able to go on those appointments, you're able to move forward. That is positive thing. So yes, this business it can be a challenge. There's been a time that I want to be like, oh my gosh, I'm done. But no, it's just the obstacles on your way, and you got to push through it, and you got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in us as a family that we are here for you, and we have you 100% of the time. I told you 1,000 times, pick up the phone and call. And trust and believe me, if I cannot find the positive side of the situation, then nobody will. Because I will always find that positive side of situation. I used to have people coming to me in my office at the store all the time with a negative side. I'll start like this. Okay, you woke up today, you ate today, you have a job, you came here, you this and that. And they'd be like, okay, fine. So just believe in yourself. Keep on pushing. Keep on posting on the Facebook. We all have your back. If you need someone to vent to someone, to talk to someone, pick up the phone and call. I told you guys I'm always busy, but I'm always available. So that's what keeps me pushing. For me, it's my kids, my family. And I have, like everybody else, have nobody to fall back to. It's me, myself, and I. And if I'm not gonna push and keep going, where am I gonna be? There is nothing to go back to. This is it. This is the path that God put me through, and I know He's gonna deliver on His promise, and you know that He will too. That's all I gotta say.
That's beautiful, Marina. All right. Last but not least, Graham.
Well, I learned at an early age, and this is something that I've shared with Max, and this is in a Max meeting. This is the only time, that's the only time, by the way, I've ever mentioned this, but 7 years old, I was basically told by my teacher I was the most stupid kid in the class because I screwed up the punctuation in an essay that we were supposed to write. And I swore in my own 7-year-old brain at that time, you're not going to judge me on that because I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Okay. So I learned from then on, it was kind of in my head that I'm going to prove to myself that that statement was not correct. And I've tripped over, I've fallen down, I've picked myself up, and I've gone on and I've done the things I've wanted to do. I've traveled around this world many times. I've made mistakes. I've won some things. It's persistence. It's knowing who you are and believing in yourself and never, ever, ever quitting. Because the only person that can tell you to stop doing something is yourself. Nobody else can tell you to stop doing something. It's none of their damn business. You do it yourself. Okay? You've got a dream, go for it. Don't ever let anybody get in your way. Ever. I mean, as long as you're staying within the law, of course. I mean, you know, certain guidelines you got to stick to. But no, seriously, it just taught me just throughout my life. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stand or fall because of it. And I'm still standing, and nothing's going to put me down again. I mean, it's not. Will I fail again? Probably. I mean, frustration comes into this business I mentioned earlier on, and Peter will back me up on this. We spent almost 4 months working on a deal. But probably one of the most, and that's being polite, people that I've ever run across. And my younger self or myself before being in partner driven would have got seriously fed up and would have probably unloaded on this dude, because that's what I know. Works in rock and roll business. It's you tell it like it is. There's no time for all the fluff and all the rest of that stuff. But just the influence of people. I mean, working with Peter on this particular potential deal just kept me mellow, kept me calmed down, and kept me focused on what's to come. And as you go through this, what I've learned in my life is stay focused on what you want to achieve. Stay focused on who you are, where you're at, and where you want to go. And just believe and do it. We've all got the tools. Everybody has these tools. It's whether you know how to use them, which you can be mentored and helped in that. But more importantly, you've got to be able to realize you have the tools and be brave enough to use them and stay focused on it. And that's pretty much where we are now. And, you know, we're working it. We're staying with the basics, and we're just one foot in front of the other every single day. We take the crap, we take the good stuff. It's the business. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I've loved everything I've done in my life. And I love this absolutely. It gets me up every morning. It keeps me up at night. In a good way. In a good way. I mean, there's nothing like it. The feeling, like I mentioned earlier on, about when that first deal closes and that wire goes into your account, it's that sense of achievement. It's saying, hey, I did this, or we did this. That's one step forward. You don't take a step back from that. You take one step forward in front of that. And you keep going and you keep going and you build and you build and you build. And you get what you want out of life, out of the business that you have. And for those that don't know Julie and Peter, this is why they're successful. This is why these partners, Jamari, Glenn, all you guys, Dale and Patricia, you keep going. These guys keep going. They don't quit. You never, ever, ever quit. Ever. Because if you do, you might as well just sit down and draw the curtains. You know, turn the lights off. See ya. So that's just my philosophy. It's every problem has a solution. Just depends how brave you are to go look for that solution, figure it out, and apply it. That's it. That's
awesome.
Man, Graham, that was amazing. I will like to say, you know, at least on my behalf, thank you so much for you guys pouring your heart out, being you, being vulnerable to everybody that's on this call. Because tonight, what happened is what I wanted to happen. Is I wanted to see, you guys are freaking amazing. Like I'm literally like, I could start a whole other day. I'm ready to make seller calls. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do that. Like I am just as motivated as anybody could be. And I will say, just thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
Everybody.
Thank you
Julie.
and Peter for coming up with this program, because if
Yeah.
it wasn't for you guys, I don't know where we all would be right now.
Thank you.
I mean, thank
Without you, there is no us.
you. Thank you.
Well, there is, and guys, you know, Patricia, I love you. I love you, Marina, Dale, Jamari, Glenn, Graham, and Jenny, and Judy.
I want to say something to you and
Thanks.
Peter.
Thanks, Dale. But you
Not-
know what,
not-
guys? They ain't seen nothing yet.
Not to interrupt you, but I just want to tell you and Peter how much I like to say thank you and Partner Driven and everyone because this deal today or yesterday, whenever it closed, was not just a deal. And what came out of that is what impressed me the most, is because I met a real estate agent for the first time, had never done any of this. He called me a couple hours ago and thanked me and thanked me and thanked me and let me know how much he wanted to do more deals with. He was really skeptical at first. Now, today I also went to start filing my taxes, and the accountant wants to know, after she told me, she's an accountant, of course, and CPA, whatever, and then her husband is a lawyer in the same company. How do you do these deals? She said. I mean, you got to really think about that. All this stuff happened because I'm working with you guys to buy a property, and look at the people that I'm meeting. This happens all the time when they come into your life. You don't expect that to happen, but everything you do has a way to open new doors for this business. And thank you guys for this, because it really means a lot. It doesn't matter how many deals I do. It matters what I learn, whether I'm here or learn myself and work together and just look at the doors that open because of it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I got some spiritual stuff tonight. So thank you guys for that too. Right.
Sure thing.
And I'm really pleased with that. Well, Peter, I'll let you sign off this evening. I don't know how in the world you could top anything everybody else had to say, but go for it, my friend.
Well, you're right. This is not a night to top anyone else off or to get anyone better, because what was said today was really, really special. And I really appreciate you guys sharing. I appreciate you guys taking the time. I appreciate the kudos you give to the model, because without the model, you know, none of us are here. We just happen to be kind of on the forefront of the model, but the model is what makes all this happen. So guys, on behalf of myself, Julie, and the incredible team behind us, this was awesome. And I don't know what the heck I'm going to do now, because it's like 9 o'clock and I should be going to bed because we got a newborn and she's sleeping, and I should try to get a couple hours, but thanks to you, no, I am not going to do that. I'm riled up. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming up with this great idea, Julie. And again, on behalf of myself, Julie, and everyone else, good night.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, guys.
Love y'all.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.